Dramatic thumbnail, isn't it? Anyway, YouTube Shorts is jam-packed full of brain rot these days, and it's bad for your attention span. Just to get something out of the way, I aren't saying you should stop watching YouTube Shorts entirely, but if you increase the amount of long-form content you watch, you'll end up watching less YouTube Shorts and being less addicted. So we're gonna go through this whole list I've made of things you can search on YouTube to watch relatively quality content. Search bar. Let's begin. First up, deep sea documentaries or deep sea creatures. I know nature documentaries have gotten really boring and really old. It's always about lions and wildebeest. We've all seen it a million times. But what about nature documentaries about an alien planet? And that's basically what these documentaries are like. The deep sea is like the last frontier that humans are yet to explore. And we know so little about the deep dark ocean that new species are being discovered continuously. And what all of that means is that if you watch some deep sea documentaries before and you watch some now, you'll probably find some new things. I bet most of us knew about the anglerfish or even the oarfish, but did you know there are toxic lakes in the bottom of the ocean that like life thrives at the edges of the lake because of nutrients, but any fish that swims a little too close just dies. Or that this thing exists. Okay, up next we have Obsidian Blade or Glass Blade. When lava from volcanoes cool down and harden, they sometimes turn into obsidian, which is like black glass. Cavemen used to make tools and weapons out of this obsidian. There are a lot of videos out there of people doing the same thing by hitting and chipping away at a large chunk of obsidian to gradually turn it into a blade. Especially from this channel. People also did this with different colored glass and even some types of crystal. This is what that looks like. This is what that looks like. Next up, liminal spaces. Liminal spaces are not for everybody. You either have to be into horror or surrealism in order to like liminal spaces. But even if you're not into that stuff, I highly recommend giving liminal spaces a try. Liminal spaces are these places that invoke a feeling of nostalgia, eeriness, and melancholy. They look strangely familiar but yet unfamiliar. A lot of them look like they should be bustling with people but are completely empty. But liminal spaces can also be incredibly stunning to look at. They have a strange sense of beauty in them. There are a lot of videos about liminal spaces, even CGI recreations. But some of the best videos are the ones that find liminal spaces online and try to trace them down, like try to learn of their real life locations. Okay, when it comes to educational videos, I definitely recommend TED-Ed, Minute Earth, or even Koskaza. TED-Ed is this educational channel that covers topics everything from science-related topics, history, or even ancient mythology. And they have a very unique and diverse animation style. Minute Earth mostly just covers science-related topics, and they have a more simplistic, minimalist kind of animation style. Most of you probably already know about Koskazat, and yeah, it's a pretty unique animation style and educational content. There are of course other educational channels other than this. They're also good, but these are the ones I know of. However, I do have a problem with Koskazat. It's awfully nihilistic, depressing, and negative for an educational channel. I think there are at least 5 videos in Koskazat about how the universe can end, at least 9 videos about how humanity can go extinct, and at least 4 more videos about deadly, incurable diseases. I think there's a fair bit of exaggeration and oversimplification at play here, because the universe can just end in 5 different ways all at the same time. So a fair bit of exaggeration to make things more depressing. But other than that, the normal Koskazat videos about regular topics are actually very good. Okay, next we have Terrarium, or artificial ecosystem. You know how our Earth is like a self-sustaining ecosystem? Terrariums are like little self-sustaining ecosystems trapped in jars. They have their own nutrient cycle, water cycle, and even oxygen to carbon dioxide cycle. And they can look incredibly stunning. You'll find a lot of videos about how to make your own terrarium and people making different kinds of terrariums. If you search artificial ecosystem, you'll also find some other kinds of more complicated aquarium tank-like ecosystems. Some of them even have rain and live animals inside. Last but not least, epoxy resin stuff. Resin is like this transparent plastic substance that can be liquefied and poured into molds, and then they harden and retain the shape. People have made art out of resin, they made tables out of resin, and even sculptures out of resin. And of course, there are mini artworks. You'll find a lot of good videos in YouTube if you search epoxy resin art or epoxy resin table or furniture. Okay, we've finished the list. On a side note though, always save videos to your watch later. Like whenever you see a long form video that you find interesting, save it to your watch later. Or else next time you'll sit down to watch some long form videos, you'll end up not finding enough videos and end up doom scrolling again. That'll be it for this video. I don't have an outro yet. Subscribe.